Before we get into the episode, we would like to issue a content warning.
Due to the nature of this show, we will be discussing sensitive topics, which could include murder, violence, sexual assault, domestic abuse, animal abuse, elder abuse, alcohol, drugs, racism, sexism, homophobia, transphobia, ableism, and more. Please take this into account when deciding when, where, and if to listen. Hello and welcome to Looking for a Man in His 30s, a Criminal Minds podcast. I'm Emma.
And I'm Sara, and today we'll be discussing Season 1, Episode 3, Won't Get Filled Again, which first aired on October the 5th of 2005. But first, a little chat, shall we?
So, let's address the elephant in the room again. I still have not got an elephant to hold up at this point. We are re-recording this episode as well. So the only one from the initial run of episodes is episode 2. Because the file only had my audio and not Sarah's.
Yeah, I think it was before I invested in a microphone, so...
No, I think what the problem is, because I have you at the start of the recording, but then you say, oh, there's some background noise, so I've muted myself. And I go, okay, well, let me put my headphones in and see if I can hear it, because that means I should pick up what the computer is picking up. And for some reason, as soon as I put my headphones in, your volume goes completely away and is not on the recording at all.
Oh, dear.
Despite the fact that I was clearly able to hear you, because in the recording, I am responding to you.
Weird. Very weird.
So, yeah, we re-recorded it. And
just a side note, the next one will be re-recorded as well.
Yeah, absolutely horrifying. I hope I never have to do this again.
Here's hoping.
Because it's making me insane.
Yes.
So, Sarah, what's been going on in your life? It's now actually July, so we may as well. There's been a good difference in my hair color since episode 2.
And you probably can't tell, but my hair color is different from when we first started. But it doesn't really show on this camera.
Yeah, I think you'd probably need to get quite good lighting to see the difference between the purple.
Just for those who can't see, it is kind of like a dark purple.
Yeah.
Just to let you know. But yeah, as you said, we're recording in July. When we originally recorded this, I've just come back off holiday. And I've been on a cruise around the Canary Islands with my mum. Although in the last 5 months, pretty much been back and forth between hospital visits. Not for me, my nephew, but don't worry, he's fine. He just got a lot of appointments. But yeah, other than that, not much else.
I love that. Well,
I don't have a
it's
social
been 5 months since we recorded this episode the first time. Nothing much has happened.
No, not really.
Yeah. So my dad is actually having an operation today. So, so anyway, fingers crossed that everything goes okay. I texted him to say good luck, and my mom received the message. So hopefully everything's fine.
And I wish him a speedy recovery too.
I will do, Sarah.
Yeah.
Okay. Shall we get into the episode recap?
Yes, we shall.
Okay. Wheels up.
Wheels up. So we start off in Palm Beach, Florida, where an angry man in a business suit is watching literally the embodiment of a Hollywood accountant walk over to him with a package. Now, the angry man has been trying to get hold of the accountant guy for quite a while, and he's very upset about some sort of business deal and walks off with a small threat that he'll regret that the next time. And next time I won't be so nice. And then suddenly a fucking bomb goes off. He's deafened and falls to the floor. The accountant guy is on the floor next to the car, screaming in pain. Then we cut to the BAU and Morgan, who is not yet identified as a bomb expert. In fact, in the first episode, he was identified as the obsessional crime expert, but no, he's an expert on bombs. News to me, but you know. And they found out that the bomb would have only needed slightly tilting in order to set it off.
That seems like you built a bad bomb. If just slightly nudging it can set it off, it's a bad bomb.
Yeah. Bit dodgy. Morgan thinks it's an awful lot of effort to go through just to kill two people. The accountant guy and the angry guy, who you couldn't even have predicted to be there. And Gideon says, let's not raise the terror alert level just yet. But then, just as they agree that it's probably a one-off, JJ comes in with some upsetting news. The footage is nationwide and the terror level will need to be raised because otherwise people will freak out. Suddenly, as the reporter is talking on the screen, a second bomb goes off just behind her, and the agents do not react in a very typical way. They're just kind of like, oh well, let's go to Palm Beach. To be honest, if I'd seen a bomb go off live on telly, I would have been terrified, absolutely jumped out of my skin.
Yeah, because I mean, you must have also watched some news reports like in the mid 2000s when they're reporting from Iraq and Afghanistan, and then you just suddenly see something blow up in the background. Like,
yeah,
it's like, holy shit.
We then find out that Morgan has an ATF background. And for those who don't know about government initialisms, that's alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. And he says, I'm the only one qualified to do this, so I'll stay behind and put the fragments of the bomb back together again so that we can figure out how it was made. And Hutch does a really weird thing where he goes, hey, Morgan, you wouldn't be afraid, would you? Like, were you trying to emasculate one of the agents on your team for because you think he might be afraid of bombs? This is Derek Morgan, you know, Hutch. He's not afraid of anything. I mean, obviously he's a regular human, but he's insanely brave. And when it comes to running into places that other people run out of, he'll do it. Morgan explains, hey, it's not the bomb I'm worried about, it's Gideon. The last time he was taking agents into a crime scene of a bomb, it didn't end so well. Hutch says, hey, Morgan, I thought we were over this. Like, it's been 6 months. Morgan, to be fair, bringing up the very real concern that Gideon could have post-traumatic episode recurrence. Not entirely sure of terminology because this is another bomb. 3 bombings so far. The first victim was an elderly woman. Second is the accountant guy who probably isn't even an accountant, so we should stop calling him accountant. We don't know his name. I haven't heard his name yet, or his job description. So, anyways. And the third bombing was for a woman who lived across the street from the second guy. We find out that his name is Clermont, and he was a partner in a real estate development firm in which the woman across the road from him had invested a lot of money into right before it went bust, which is probably why the angry guy was angry at the beginning too. On the jet, the team are trying to decide what could be the reason for this. You know, could it be that the development went south and someone was annoyed enough to try and attack Clermont to kill him? But Gideon says, hey, it's a bit too early to look for motive, guys. Although, to be honest, Gideon, that might be the way of getting this off faster. Like, find out who had a motive to kill the victims, you know? And then you can whittle it down to people who didn't have the means or the opportunity.
It's almost like that's a reasonable deduction for crime solving. Motive means opportunity.
But hey, Gideon's going to get in, so leave him to it. Well, Gideon wants to go back to the beginning. What do we know about bombers? And to be honest, I know nothing, so let's see what everyone else knows. Bombers are mostly male loners with a history of criminal activity. 50% are the product of vandalism. Most bombs get set off accidentally, so the first person you always look for is the victims. But it's very unlikely that the elderly woman did set a bomb herself. Assuming then, because after she died, she couldn't necessarily then bring two other parcels to go off. So
Yeah, I don't know how talented I would be with bomb making, but I'm guessing I couldn't do it once I was dead.
Yeah. You're very talented ghost if she could.
Mm.
Let's be honest.
But we can't tell the team we need to start looking for ghosts. Good God, that's going to send them off down the wrong path. Right, guys, so we're looking for a ghost. Are we, Gideon? Are you sure? I'm going to continue working on humans, if you don't mind.
We should have a spin-off. We're looking for a ghost in his 30s.
Do we think the ghost would be in their 30s when they died? Or that it's been 30
Assuming they
years since
don't
they became a
age,
ghost?
but I don't know.
Hmm.
Either way, this bit's getting cut out.
I'm the one editing it. No, it's not. This is excellent. All of it's going in.
No. The team point out that Clerman is the only male out of the victims, and he's also the only one who wasn't killed. He was taking a parcel to someone or somewhere else. Seems a bit suspicious.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you know? The team think the same as me. And then cut to Morgan at the BAU office. Or is he in the office in Palm Beach? It's not entirely clear, but I'm assuming he's at BAU. And he's sorting through pictures of the bomb fragments. Garcia comes in and says Morgan's got a package which would normally form part of the flirty double entendre banter, but today kind of sounds a bit threatening. Like you have a package, it may or may not blow up. Don't worry. Don't worry. She says she's had a police escort bring it up from Palm Beach. The package appears to be in a metal box, and we find that it's a bomb fragment. Garcia asks him, "Hey, why are you putting the bomb together?" And Morgan says, "How did you get into the FBI? Seriously." And she makes a joke about not getting into med school, which is very funny, and I like that Garcia brings levity. Morgan then explains that putting the bombs together will show you how an unsolved thinks. Morgan deduces from the bomb that he can tell that the bomber is a skilled man and that his main objective was simply to kill people.
I could have told you that.
Yeah. But then again, some bombs are made to like scare people or not cause major harm. But I guess the majority to kill people.
Okay, fair enough. I'm not the bomb expert. You are, Sarah.
Me neither. I've heard of bombs. I don't. I've never been in a situation where there is a bomb.
Good. Let's hope it continues.
Yes. So back to Palm Beach, and the team are searching Clement's house. His wife comes home after visiting in the hospital, shocked to find that the FBI is pulling through the stuff. And to be honest, you'd think that there would have been somebody from the team who went to the hospital to like let them know, warn her in advance, and like, hey, just know when you get home, there's people with your cupboards and your drawers. Anything that looks suspicious and like identifies your husband as the bomber. Well, oh, he has a toolbox. And in there's a copy of the Anarchist Cookbook. It's us. Gideon and Reed visit Clement in the hospital to question him about the package. He thought it was a plant pot, and he didn't take it inside his house because the plant pot he'd ordered was for his office. And he'd ordered it through the mail, and to be honest with you, as somebody who orders a lot of stuff, and I'm guessing you do too. Then,
Mm-hmm.
honestly, I could not tell you what is in the box when it arrives because once I've ordered it, I forget what I've ordered. So
It's like a surprise present for me
yeah, it's like
from
ooh,
me.
today. It's like yesterday, something arrived with my name on it. Because my dad rang me, he said it's a parcel here. I said, "Has it got my name on it?" He's like, "I don't know." Can read, you can have a look. So anyway, I get home, I realize, oh, it's my name. But then I look at the writing on the box, and it clearly states on the box what's in the package. So he could have told me over the phone, but no. And it turns out I've got to send it back anyway because it's damaged. So.
He could have
He,
at least said, yes, it's got your name on it.
he's like, I don't know.
Does your dad not
I
know what your name is? Is this the thing?
think he's like this sort of slowly going insane.
Is he like, oh, it's addressed to a Sara butcher? I don't know a Sara.
Oh, he's so dumpy though. Gideon asked Clerman whether Joe, who we found out was the angry guy from the beginning, would have done anything to hurt him. He says no, and that if Joe wanted to kill him, he would have just beat him to death. Turns out that Clerman knew the first victim as well. He'd sold her a condo, and he's not a bad guy. He didn't know that anything was going wrong. He paid a geologist to survey the area, and unfortunately ended up being scammed. The scene then ends with Clerman complaining about pain in his foot, but as the camera pans out, you see that half of his leg is actually missing. So it's more of a phantom pain, but neither Reed nor Gideon are the right people to explain to him what's happening. So they just kind of nope out of the situation.
I would as well.
Yeah, me too.
Okay,
Look,
bye.
better that, gotta go. Back to the Clerman house, Ellie's looking at pictures on a mantelpiece, and Gideon calls Hotch to say that Clerman's not our guy. He's lucid, he's humorful, he doesn't have a hobby related to bomb making.
Don't worry, he's not our guy. He made a joke and he only gardens. What kind of thing could that be to do with bomb making? So anyway, we're going to write off all criminals that tell a joke from now on.
Yeah. Well, this guy's a right comedian. He's not a bomb maker. Then we get the reveal that Elle is looking at a photo of their 12-year-old nephew and thinking, hey, he was staying with them for a month and he left last week. Seems a bit suspicious. Even though Hotch now both admit that Mercury switches are a bit too sophisticated for his age, kids do like to blow stuff up, so they call the police in Texas to pick up this 12-year-old. Maybe he was like, let me send bombs to 3 people, including my uncle. Motive unclear at this time. Morgan's having a hard time reassembling the bombs, and Garcia's too busy playing a Game Boy, which, like, do you not have work to do in the office?
It's a common theme. There's not enough crime work for the FBI agents to do. So they're either, doing some sort of magic or playing chess or on their Game Boys or arguing with other law enforcement about about whether who needs to handle a case.
Yeah.
It's almost like there are too many people in the police, and you can make a reasonable effort for defunding the police. Who said that?
No, it'd be funny. I just seen a Hotch sat in the corner doing a crossword.
I'll be honest. Hotch is the only one of them that seems to have any work ethic. Hotch and JJ.
I know. Morgan explains to Garcia that the bombers have all different kinds of signatures, like what powder they use, how they fit the bomb together, what metals they use. And Garcia relates it back to the hacking community because, of course, she's a hacker. And she explains that all hackers have their signatures in pieces of code that they use. Garcia then solves part of the puzzle while she's busy playing a game. Morgan asks what, and she goes, Tetris. So obviously she was playing Tetris on the Game Boy. But the right idea. Morgan says, I know who built this bomb, but he's doing life in federal prison. Wait, how did he make the bomb in prison? Are you sure you guys put the right guy away? Does he have an accomplice on the outside? Back to the team in Palm Beach, Morgan has sent over photos of the reconstructed bombs, plus one photo that was in the evidence locker at Quantico. And we find out it's Adrian Bale, the guy that Gideon put away 6 months earlier, after he killed 6 agents in a bomb blast. The very case that made Gideon take a sabbatical for his mental health. So maybe Morgan was right to be worried.
Yeah, we'll cut him some slack.
And apparently Bale has created quite a family as well in Preston, which the Texas PD has now picked up the nephew, by the way, and he did admit that the bomb making stuff they found at his uncle's place was his. Anyways, we're now down to 0 suspects again. Gideon tells the police chief, no worries, just have your team look at the profile. Then as Gideon delivers the profile, we get one of them amazing shots that Emma absolutely loves, where the background behind Gideon just disappears and it transforms into a restaurant as Gideon's explaining that if you bumped into this guy out in the public, he would apologize. He's very non-confrontational. Hutch says that the guy is intelligent and he works alone, and that's why he's able to create a good bomb. Gideon says that the bomb creates kind of sexual release for the bomber. The screen then cycles through mugshots of famous bombers over throughout history and devastating images of the bomb aftermath. However, this guy's motive is to kill, so he is unlike most bombers. The bombs are simply weapons, and the people that are killed are chosen, and it's not random, it's not terrorism. The bomb is more likely killing to conceal a crime or to get more money. So Hotch tells the gathered police that if you have any questions, we'll be around, and Gideon says, you'll be around, I'll be impressed. Which is just an iconic line, really, because he's going to speak to them.
Yeah, it's how I might sign off my email signatures from now on.
Yeah. You do that and do this. And I don't know about you, Emma, but personally, I'm going to let Gideon go to the.
No.
Because, but Gideon's going to do what Gideon does, so.
Yeah, but someone should have been like, hey, actually, I'll go. Why don't you go do something else? This guy gave you a fucking major depressive episode.
JJ goes in to see Hotch now, who are pointing to information on the first victim. A little old lady who collects cats and coins. And to be honest, this is the kind of old lady that I want to be, like building a collection of things that I love. Where I already do that. As does Emma. As you can clearly see. Morgan's back on the phone with more information. The chemical components used in the bomb are the exact same ones that Bale used, and no one else uses them. That's his specific signature. JJ is about to hold a press conference where she will tell the public to be wary of parcels that are arriving on their doorstep, particularly ones that have their name and address written on them in block lettering. The FBI assistant director is on the phone to Hotch, speculating about the need for a deal with Bale in order to get the information about who the new bomber is. Hotch says, do you really want to do that? He did kill 6 of our agents. And she replies, well, we may not have a choice. Gideon has gone to the jail in Georgia, which is just the next state over. Bale notes that the press have not given the bomber a really catchy name. It's just the Palm Beach bomber. Like, okay, man, do you want to give him a name? You got any suggestions?
Hey, I don't see you doing anything.
Yeah. Man. Gideon tells Bale that the bomber is modeling the bombs after his, and he says that they should be careful with those things as they're dangerous. Sure. Gideon says that if Bale doesn't help him, then he will make his life a living hell. JJ is doing a press conference and it's being played on the world's smallest TV. Now, I'm not sure about you, but mid 2000s, I had a pretty big TV.
Yeah,
Like
I mean,
90s, we had the smaller ones. But you think by 2005, they got a bit bigger.
yeah, I had a massive box TV by like
The massive
2005.
on the back, the big, like,
Yeah,
we call it the back of the TV. It
yeah,
was,
the thing that took up about as much room as a freaking chair.
yeah. Kids these days will never understand.
No.
And now we are getting the background of that day 6 months ago. Gideon says that he made an error. He assumed that Bale wouldn't push the button and blow up the six agents. And blow up the six agents. Bale more or less admits that he couldn't help himself. He had to push the button as he was getting a release from it. Gideon mocks him, saying, I'm going to walk over here, but you never will. Bale is then goading him. Why didn't you do your job? Why didn't you search me for the bomb button? Cut back to a little girl's house where she and her mum are watching the press conference on TV. And the little girl is like, hey, mum, you have a present. Can I bring it to you? It's got a white label on it with blue letters. And the mum drops the egg she's holding and runs to her daughter. The daughter has already picked up the parcel, which is awful. And she has to keep completely still with this bomb. She cannot move. And this is a little girl holding the box and just trying not to let it tip. But mum is also helping her hold it until the police arrive. And thank God they do. Because the bomb's really heavy and this little girl's struggling to hold it. Which is completely fair because she's like 8.
Yeah, I struggle holding a box of something I'm posting as I walk down the road. Imagine if
Yeah.
I was holding a bomb and I had to be like completely dead still. I've never
Oh
been
no.
completely dead still in my life.
Yeah, I can't do that. Like I'm very unsteady on my feet, so like I'd probably trip over my own foot and then boom. Bye
I'd be
bye.
like, I need to sit down.
Yeah, crazy. God knows how she did it for as long as she did. But luckily, the bomb squad arrive and they come over and they've got a table that they're gonna lift up underneath the box in order to like take its weight. Um, but they're like, "Oh, nobody armor. We don't want to scare this girl. This girl's already fucking scared. She's petrified.
Yeah,
So one of the
like,
bomb, she's aware that if she drops it or like moves slightly, she can kill herself and everyone around her.
yeah, I
Like
don't think riot gear would scare her at this point.
absolutely crazy. The bomb disposal agent then tells the mother to get out of the way. And as soon as the table takes the weight of the package, the mum just grabs the daughter and they run towards the police.
We'll be right back after this short break. Welcome back to Looking for a Man in His 30s. Take it away, Sarah.
Had a small glitch in the
Thank you.
recording. Sarah is saying that
So Gideon is going to talk to Bale again. Reed's going to check all of the incoming and outgoing mail that Bale is connected with and see whether they can find if the unsub is contacted him in some way. Elle is speaking to Hutch and pointing out that the old lady who collected the coins was having trouble insuring some of the coins that she'd ordered. Hutch asks if the insurance company is now blowing up annoying clients, which one is a very funny line. Two, she's supposedly annoying because she tried to get something insured. And three, if you're annoying an insurance company, good for you. Well done. Like for me, my car insurance company probably hates me when I ring them every year to complain that my new renewal quote is too high and I refuse to pay that amount. Thankfully, they always reduce it, so good for you.
My parents' travel insurance company added £900 on during, because it's an annual trip, annual coverage, right? Added £900 on because of my dad's stay in hospital at the beginning of the year. But they are not currently out of the insurance. So I was like, you should challenge that. And Mum was like, it didn't really seem like they were going to let me. And I was like, they can't add £900 on to your coverage.
When you're still paying for it.
Like, no, because you pay it at the beginning of the year because it's an annual thing. So they pay it in
Yeah,
January.
I mean, like before the next year.
Yeah,
like
they can't. I was like, they can't add on money until next January. When, yeah, they'll be able to be like, oh, actually. And Mum was like, well, no, they're telling me I have to, and I can't. I don't want to go on holiday without having paid it, and then they'll say we don't have insurance. So I've got to talk to the insurance company and be like, excuse me.
Have a word and then shop around.
Yeah.
That's what I generally do. I shop around me every year because some women start so.
Yeah, it's just because it was mid-year. Like, I understand if you've made a claim, your insurance goes up the next time you renew it.
Oh yeah, but not during the policy.
Yeah, exactly. So I have to phone the insurance company later. So if you're annoying an insurance company, good for you. Tell us how you did it, because I'm going to start doing it as well.
Me too. So the working theory is that the guy who sold the coins to the old woman killed her because he didn't want it revealed that he was selling fake merchandise. So now they're off to find the coin appraiser, David Walker, in case that he has any information on who sold the old lady the coins. And we're back to the office of Supreme Genius with Ms. Garcia herself. And she's taking a call from Reed, who tells us that Bale was accessing the internet via a firewall on a prison library computer. And he'd even registered an email address. Like, what's it going to be like? bomber@prison.gov. Stupid like that. Anyway, the plan is to monitor his keystrokes on the computer, but it means that Garcia will have to send him a virus. So, what kind of email would he be likely to open in order to download this virus? And the guy is obviously quite computer savvy, so.
What email would a man open without bothering to engage any sort of brain power?
Well, let's see. Because Reed says that the guy's impotent and he needs something that will make him feel in control. And Garcia's face lights up and she licks her goddamn lips. So you think she's going to put some kind of sexual double entendre in the subject line? Oh no, it's not even double entendre, it's just sexy teen hot fit inmate. Blech. Blech. So apparently, after this virus is keeping it and it can access his keystrokes, he's visited 6 porn sites in the last half hour, which I have a question about, like, how long are these videos? What exactly is going on? Also, he's in a public space where there's someone literally watching him from a corner. Like, what's he trying to do? Burn it into his retinas so then he can visually do something back in his cell. Oh no, we find out he's gone to a message board for bomb makers. And he sent out a warning message, but the FBI is already onto him. Unbeknown to him.
First of all, what do you mean a message board for bomb makers? Why is that a thing? Please don't tell me. This is going to be something where you're going to say, well, Emma, on the dark web, and I'm going to be like, I don't want to know. Don't tell me anything.
Don't tell me anything.
Terrifying.
Yes. So, Reed is reading out a list of people who have been talking on this message board in the last month and a half. One of them piques Gideon's interest. It's an antiquity dealer who's likely to have sold forged coins to the little lady. Elle is at the house of David Walker talking to his long-suffering wife, who says that she can't think of anything more boring than old coins and papers. Can't relate, but I do understand that some people do have hobbies that you think are insane. So I'm a kindred spirit as well. And this woman who I don't think's given a first name, but she's very iconic. So between me and Emma, we decided to call her Tanya.
Yeah.
She looks like Tanya too.
Yeah.
And she asks if Ellie's single, and when Elle says yes, she says, "Let me give you some advice. Don't marry the first guy that proposes." Honestly, she's just a legend of a woman.
Yes.
Very funny. Very deadpan when she says it as well.
Yeah.
I just love it. Our new friend Tanya leads Elle out to a workshop, and David is seen like from behind looking at them through a window. Back to Hotch, he's on a phone call from Reed. He jots down the name of the unsub that Reed's telling him. David Walker appears on the paper. Hotch then panics and goes to contact Elle to warn her. As she receives a phone call from Hotch, they hear a car starting. Tanya says, "I hope he's not committing suicide. I won't get the life insurance policy." Again, iconic line. Legend. Hotch then tells Elle that David Walker is the one that they're looking for. Be careful. And just as he says that, David Walker zooms out the garage in his car and full on hits his wife and drives off with Elle shooting at the car from the back. Hotch then joins Elle at the house as Tanya is being loaded into an ambulance with a neck brace and a broken arm. They go to check out the garage while uniforms are scouring the city for his car. They find out that the guy's been forging coins in his garage to increase the value and make a tidy criminal profit. This guy seems insane because he's obsessed with Bale too. He actually has news clippings of Bale on his walls, on his table. He circled Bale's name and written "the best" in Sharpie.
It's like he's a kid doodling in his notebook. Yeah. May as well have written Mr. David Bale and signed it with a heart.
Or Walker loves Bale. And lo and behold, Walker is also working on something else. He was building a bomb. Elle pulls the sheet off to show all the bomb components on the table. Then cut back to Garcia trying to eat an incredibly organised, somewhat healthy lunch. And just as she brings the sandwich to her mouth, she doesn't get to enjoy it because Mom comes down and goes, "Hey, you want some work?" I would punch him in the throat, seriously. Dude, I'm trying to go away. Garcia, poor Garcia. She says, "I haven't slept this week. I may as well give up on eating too." So together they're looking for what? Well,
I think she could have perhaps eaten in the time when she was playing on the Game Boy.
Could be done. But obviously she had other priorities.
I relate. I also played Tetris rather than sleeping.
I haven't played it for a while. My dad had.
It stands up.
So together they're looking for Walker's information in emails sent to and from Bale to try and figure out where Walker is. If he got the bomb making tips from Bale, he may have also gotten the notice to stay away from the police once as well. Find out he's been in trouble with the police for counterfeit checks previously. He owned a business for a good number of years, but most of the inventory were fakes and he was in severe debt. Turns out that Walker killed all of those people in order just to kill the old lady who we found out was called Barbara, and to make it look like a bigger conspiracy than it already is. But holy shit, everything comes to a head when a guy with a bomb strapped to his chest walks into the precinct, and every single cop in the room takes out the guns and points at him. Even though the guy's pleading, "Please, please, he's going to kill me. You have to help me."
Someone could convincingly make a case for de-escalation training, couldn't they? What are you going to do? Shoot the bomb on his chest? Sure, bombs go off just by nudging them accidentally, but 40 people shooting a bullet into it, that won't make it go off.
I'll be safe. So they contact the bomb squad to get them in. And this poor guy is terrified. He's just saying, please, I can't walk outside. He'll kill me. But surely they can, like, evacuate other people from the building.
Yeah. Would have been the first thing I did. Everyone out via the back exit.
Yeah.
Do not hang around. Leave.
Strange. So Walker's using the guy that he kidnapped randomly off the street as the delivery of his ransom messages. So he wants a helicopter, he wants a passport, he wants to get off scot-free, or this guy's going to get blown up and take the entire Palm Beach with him. Walker will send instructions on defusing the bomb as soon as he's got what he wanted. But I don't think you'd trust somebody who's already killed at least 2 people. And maybe don't trust him to be gallant and release the man he's effectively turned into a bomb. So back up, they call for snipers because they know that Walker's nearby. He's around somewhere. And oh shit, as they're investigating the bomb, looking at it to be like, hey, how quick do you think you can get this off? They find out that not only is it incredibly sophisticated and it could have secondary triggers everywhere, you cannot get the vest off him without cutting through 3 wires that are around his neck. And any one of them could set the bomb off. The bomb squad technician says we could x-ray it to find out if there are any secondary triggers. But he doesn't know if they have enough time because there's a count on it and there's less than 3 hours till it automatically goes off. And like, how long would it take the police to get an x-ray? Like, the man literally has a bomb strapped to his chest.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking that if someone was like, Emma, can you get us an x-ray machine? It has to be here before the 3 hours is up. I'd be like, absolutely. Let me go to the hospital and explain, and I'm sure they'll let me take an x-ray away with me.
Yeah.
Like, I've had an x-ray on my arm ages ago. I feel like that machine would be easy enough to wheel out of the hospital.
I'm sure they do have portable ones somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. It was probably a portable one they used for my arm, because now that I'm thinking about it, they did x-ray my granddad once, and that one was very much built into the ceiling.
Yeah.
But they do have a portable one. They used it on my arm. I'm sure I could be like, right, I'll wheel that over. I'm going to get in a taxi with this. I will be there as soon as possible. It would not take 3 hours.
No. Anyway. So Gideon again tries to convince the guy with the bomb strapped to him that, hey, we just need to go inside. Despite the fact that the guy's already told him over and over again that David Walker will kill him if he goes outside. And I don't know what part of that they're failing to get.
Exactly. Like, it could not have been clearer. If I go outside, he's going to set this bomb off. Do you know who is outside? Civilians.
Yeah. Don't ask Gideon. So we find out that Walker is in a small room in an office building across the street from the police station, according to the sniper on the roof who spotted him. We learn that bombers are generally cowards, so the team will go in through the back of the building and surprise him. But Elle points out, isn't it weird that he's doing this? He's allowing himself to be caught. But Hotch says he's doing it so to be able to like negotiate. Hotch and Elle are standing outside the room where David is hiding. Hotch calls out federal agents and like to warn him. And Walker is seen crouching behind boxes saying, please don't shoot, please don't shoot. Walker is then again demanding the helicopter and the passport. But Hotch says, you're at the top of the FBI's most wanted list. You're not getting that. But give up the gun, surrender to us, and we won't kill you.
Fair.
Yeah. And then we're back to Morgan, who's ringing Gideon and saying Bale wrote a letter to Walker a couple of days ago, saying, my only regret is giving myself up. Don't make my mistake. Gideon calls Hotch in a panic and tells Hotch and Elle to get out of there. So them and other agents turn and run, with them barely clearing the door before a bomb goes off, sending a ball of fire down the hallway. So now they have 2.5 hours to save the guy strapped to a bomb. Walker is now dead. Who else could defuse the bomb? Looks like they have to bring Bale. So Gideon starts.
What an insufferable man he is.
Yes. What a dick. So Gideon starts to make concessions to move Bale to a lower security prison. But Bale counters with, why don't you release me instead? Despite having killed at least 7 people, and Hotch says, no fucking way. Gideon concedes to this, but Bale doesn't want to take a good deal. He says, actually, I want you to admit that I beat you in Boston and that I was the best. Gideon doesn't have so much pride that he's willing to risk anyone's life on making a false statement to a prisoner. And thank God, because I hate it when people say, what I have is my good name, and I shall not sully it by telling people that it was my fault that those agents were killed. So Gideon agrees to put it down in writing that he does not care, and even Bale's lawyer is like, hey, if he tells you one thing that's not true, then the deal is void, and he stays in prison. So Bale is now with the team in the police station, and the guy with the suicide vest is in a room that is covered in something looking like chicken wire. I assume they put that there to stop the bomb fragments hitting others, but they now have 40 seconds until the bomb goes off. Gideon asks Bale, which wire do we cut, red or blue? Gideon says to Bale, you know what the consequences are for lying to me. And Bale is like, I'm not lying to you, dude. I know what I'm talking about. Just cut the red wire. 15 seconds to go. Gideon says into the radio, cut the blue. And Bale turns to look at him, absolutely shocked. Even the bomb tech seems a bit unsure, but he snips the blue wire. Thankfully, the bomb doesn't go off. The guy is safe, and Hotch grabs Bale roughly by the shoulder and shoves him to a door face first.
Good.
I do the same. Elle then asks how Gideon knew, and it flashes back to the part of the episode where he's speaking to Bale, and Bale says it's just like a sexual release. I can't help myself. And you know that Maya Angelou quote, when people tell you who they are, believe them. And then something I do not advocate for in real life. But Gideon walks Bale back to his cell and says, hey, even though you didn't help us and you're not getting moved, I did tell all of the people in the prison that you were so helpful. Which means that Bale's probably going to get killed.
Oh, well.
So it's even right. Yes. And then we have an iconic line from Gideon. You're a rare bird, Adrian. You don't know how much pleasure I get knowing that I put you in this little cage. You might even call it a sexual release. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you, Gideon.
That was incredible. And thank you, Sarah.
You're welcome.
Okay, I think we can go straight into our episode discussion for this week, Sarah. So you've been talking for a while, so I will go into our notable guest stars.
Yeah.
So Gil Clerman, who we referred to throughout this episode as the accountant guy, despite the fact that he was not an accountant, he just looked like one.
He did.
He was played by Tom Virtue, and he's been in like loads of different TV shows and movies since the late 80s, including a number of other crime-related shows in minor roles, but he is best known for his role as Steve Stevens, the patriarch of the show Even Stevens, which aired on the Disney Channel in the early noughties.
Yeah.
And that I watched on Saturday morning TV because we didn't have the Disney Channel.
Oh.
The show famously featured a young Shia LaBeouf as the youngest member of the family. And you know what? I'm just not gonna say what I was gonna say about Shia LaBeouf. I'd have to cut it out anyway.
Yeah.
So shall we move on to our episode MVP, Sarah?
We can.
So this is the part of the episode where we assess who in the episode we think has done the best job. And we normally give them the monikers of baby girl or pretty boy because that's what Morgan uses for Garcia or Reed. So our baby girl of the episode is Tanya.
Yay!
She did not even have a name in the credits.
No.
She was Walker's wife.
Literally.
You could have at least given her a name. It could have at least said
at least we named
Walker.
At least we named it.
Yes. In fact, I feel like I may write to the actress and tell her that we have righted the horrendous wrong that she was not given a name. She was given the best lines in the episode.
Oh, yeah.
But not a name. And that is the fault of the Criminal Minds writers. And we do hold them to account for this.
Justice for Tanya.
Justice for Tanya. That's going to be the slogan for this. Oh, I wonder if people will think we mean like Tanya Harding. And then we might get like, we've caught a little bit of scandal there.
No.
Nancy Kerrigan fans like, excuse me, what the fuck do you mean?
Welcome back. And now we're on to the true crime recap section. So, Emma, it's time to deliver the profile.
Okay, so I would like you to just kind of close your eyes for a second as I give you a teaser for the story.
Okay.
It involves the Mormon church, a white salamander, and someone making bombs for fun with his friends.
How does that even mesh together?
Don't worry, Sarah, there's absolutely no need to use any brain cells with this because it's the most insane and bizarre story I've ever fucking read.
Oh.
So it starts with a man called Mark Hoffman. He's born in 1954 in Salt Lake City, Utah, and raised by deeply religious parents in the Mormon church. So far, just a tiny bit odd. He wasn't great in school, but he excelled with his studies, magic, electronics, chemistry, stamp and coin collecting, and made bombs with his friends for fun, I say sarcastically. Like, sorry, what? I mean, when I do like setting like bits of paper on fire, like above the candle, but I'm not actually setting the house on fire. And bombs are a little bit different from setting paper on fire. Now,
like I used to like playing with firelighters. You know, for like the little thingies he's putting barbecues. Little like blocks.
Yeah.
I used to like lighting them and then throwing them because why not?
Now, I do want to let you know that it doesn't say anyone was hurt by these early bombs. And you know the homicidal triad, Sarah, where it's like bedwetting, cruelty to animals, starting fire. Why is it making bombs on there? Why is that not setting off alarms?
No.
Anyway, so while he's still a teenager, he manages to forge a rare mint mark onto a coin and is able to fool an organization that buys it off of him. And this, honestly, just a bit of a prank. He's a teenager. How hilarious. And it all just gets weirder from there. In the 1970s, he goes to Bristol, England, on a mission from the Mormon Church. But it doesn't go particularly well for the Mormon Church because he actually reads a lot of books that critique the Mormon faith and apparently lost his belief in the church.
Oh dear.
He then returns to Utah, enrolls in college as a pre-med student, and married Dorelei Olds, and they had 4 children before divorcing in the late 80s. So, I'm sure you're thinking to yourself, well, Emma, he's made bombs and he's already forged an old coin. Is that it? Is that the link? Oh, no. My dear sweet child. Do you want to know what he forged, Sarah?
Yeah, go on.
Well, it's more a case of what he didn't forge. In 1980, he announced that he'd found a King James Bible from the 17th century with a transcript enclosed, which was copied by Joseph Smith Jr., founder of Mormonism, from the golden plates that he'd used to transcribe the Book of Mormon. Now, that was so many things in such short of a time period that I felt like I was on drugs reading it. Like every single thing in that sentence, every word was just like, what? Now, it will not surprise you to learn, Sarah, that he didn't actually find that King James Bible from the 17th century with a transcript enclosed, copied by Joseph Smith Jr., the founder of Mormonism. Because of course not. Why the hell would he have found that? Where? Did anyone ask any questions? Unclear.
Probably not.
He had actually recreated this lost document from a description given by a professor who had seen the document in 1828. But experts were fooled somehow. And the Mormon Church paid $20,000 for it, which I think is a bit cheap for a founding document of your faith.
Very.
So anyway, apparently no one asked any questions, and Hoffman dropped out of med school to become a dealer in Mormon artifacts and became noted for his discoveries, some of which people hadn't heard of before.
Surely that'd give the thing away that they weren't real.
I mean, I would think it was suspect. Like, how is the 25-year-old finding all these long-lost Mormon relics that no one in the past 100 years have managed to find?
Yeah. My mind is blown.
Yeah, but still he tricked members of the highest Mormon governing body, document experts and historians, which at this point, this is really embarrassing for you guys. How are you fooled by a 24-year-old who's like copying documents? What is this? It said he was driven out of greed and a wish to embarrass the Mormon Church.
Oh, he's managed that.
Oh my goodness, Sarah, it gets worse. See, I think that if he had just been driven by greed alone, he might have got away with it.
Yeah.
But his incessant need to just disgrace Mormonism was just like, okay, well now this is how you're getting caught, mate. So some of these forgeries included a letter that allegedly provided evidence that Smith designated his son rather than settler Brigham Young as his successor, which the Central Mormon Church declined because the price was too steep. And then an offshoot, the Missouri Church, the Reorganized Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, bought the letter because they had always asserted that Smith III was the legitimate successor but never had any proof. And if that's not an example of letting your opinions guide the evidence rather than letting the evidence guide your opinions, I don't know what is. It is believed that he forged a lost 116 pages of the Book of Mormon, which he would have filled with inconsistencies and errors to sell to the church so that they would conceal it, and then he was going to make the contents public anyway. So also, does he not think that most religious texts are filled with inconsistencies because they are, I know I'm an atheist, but they are not the literal word of God. They are penned down by people across millennia. And so every single thing is getting retranslated and re-looked at, etc., etc., etc. So there's inconsistencies in every religious text. So I don't see why he thought that would embarrass the Mormon church so much. The Salamander letter, Sarah.
Oh.
Supposedly written by Martin Harris to W.W. Phelps, that contradicted the church's version of how the gold plates were discovered and accused Joseph Smith Jr. on money digging through magic and using a seer stone, that the angel that appeared to Smith was actually a white salamander who demanded to speak to Smith's brother Alvin, who was dead.
But animals can't talk.
That was your big takeaway from that. Animals can't talk. Nothing else was jumping out at you. Money.
Well, the magic in the seer stone.
A seer stone.
Well, yeah, that's logical. But the obvious fact that animals can't talk, it's awesome.
I mean, you'd say obvious. The Mormon Church defended this, saying it was a sort of slang term for a mythical being. You know, slang terms that are in religious texts. You know, you've heard of them. The letter was sold for $40,000, and then people became suspicious. Then.
Going back to the slang in religious texts, it's like in the Bible, like Jesus saying to Judas, "You're well sauce." Shit like that, isn't it?
I think so, but also I don't know that Jesus is suspicious of Judas. I mean, I suppose he is, really. No, he tells the others, like, he will betray me, doesn't he? I do not know.
Anyway, maybe stuff they are.
I don't know a lot about Jesus and the disciples. So anyway, do you think that's all he did?
Guessing not.
Oh no. He also forged signatures of famous non-Mormons, including US Constitution signatory Button Gwinnett. And did I just include that because I wanted to say Button Gwinnett? Yes.
But who calls a kid Button?
I don't know, but I think that if you look back at like 17th century New England, there are a lot of people running around with odd names. Like basically all of the colonists had some strange fucking names.
Yeah.
Anyway, Button Gwinnett. He also forged Oath of a Freeman, the most famous missing document in American colonial history, and the first document printed by US colonialists in 1639, with only 50 copies made. Why are you going so big?
Yeah.
I don't understand it. You could make a pretty good living just forging, like, you know, oh, hey, this Elvis record was signed by Elvis. You could do that. No one would be looking into it. They'd be like, he's just selling that for like $400, and all he's done is gone down to a record shop, bought an Elvis record, and just signed it himself. No one would look into that. But you have to forge the most famous missing document in American colonial history. What are you talking about? He then tried to forge the McLennan collection. Now, not, as I first thought, the ship name for Paul McCartney and John Lennon. Actually, it's supposedly an extensive group of documents written by early Mormon apostle William E. McLennan, which he said would embarrass the church. But he couldn't forge one in time. So, just a reminder, Hoffman was like, well, this will really embarrass the Mormon church, but he couldn't finish it in time. What are you doing? Sorry, if you are forging stuff specifically to embarrass the Mormon church, why is this a side thing you're doing? Like, it's like going, oh yeah, I'm trying to write a novel, but I do have a full-time job and 2 kids. And it's like, yeah, no, I can understand. But I don't see how, if your mission is to embarrass the Mormon church, put 100% into it, dude. This is really, it's quite embarrassing for you, really.
Yeah, I think you just got to be greedy. Now,
let's move on to the bombings, because I know that's what you're wanting to hear, Sarah. So I will read you this quote from Hoffman. As I look back on the decisions made during this time of panic, I can see many forms of rationalization which I employed. For instance, for the first time in my life, I took an interest in reading the obituaries. Not the weirdest part. Don't gasp yet. I believe that I was trying to convince myself of the worthlessness of life and of life's unfairness. I told myself that my survival and that of my family was the most important thing, that my victims might die that day in a car accident or from a heart attack anyway. I thought about the Nazi Holocaust, the earthquake in Mexico, and other disasters. Do you think it makes it okay if they might have died anyway? You could not possibly prove that they might have died anyway if you hadn't killed them. What the hell kind of defense is this? Also, just a small point. I don't think the Holocaust qualifies as disaster, because that seems to imply that it's something that no one could have done anything about. In reality, the Holocaust was a man-made atrocity. I just found that a weird thing to be like, yeah, you know, disaster, isn't it? No, man, it's the Holocaust. It's actually, it was very preventable.
Yeah. Genocide is not an accident.
Yeah. Genocide is not just a random thing that happens sometimes. It's actually a thing that a lot of people do have to turn a blind eye to and could do something about. Anyway, Hoffman fell into debt despite the forgeries because of his lavish lifestyle, including buying used books. Sorry, we're considering lavish lifestyle to include buying used books now, are we? Right, well, guess I've got a very lavish lifestyle. Never knew. Hoffman received mounting pressure from people to whom he had promised the document collection or repayment of debts, all of whom began to hound him, and the sale of Oath of a Freeman was delayed by questions about its authenticity for fucking once. Right. So imagine this, Sarah. You owe a lot of money to people. You also have a project that's due that you need to submit. And in order to buy yourself more time, would you say fake an illness? I'm sorry, I'd get that project to you, but I am under with the flu, so can I have a week extension? Hey, I'm sorry, I owe you some money, but I'm under with the flu, so I'm a bit behind and I can't work my online banking. Because I might fake an illness to get an extension on projects or loan repayments. Hoffman did not decide to do that for some reason, and instead decided that in order to buy himself more time, he would commit a bombing spree. You know, as you do. I know, you're looking and you're thinking, wow, how relatable. I would also, instead of just doing the project, I would work on making a fucking bomb.
Yeah. Why not?
So, as you can see, both Mark Hoffman and David Walker were con artists turned serial bombers. They were married, they worked in antiquities, had heavy debts, and that the heavy debt was the stressor. And it's like, I don't feel sorry for you. Like, oh, I was so stressed at the time because I had a lot of debt. Yeah, you didn't have to kill people.
Yeah.
Like, I was stressed at the time, so I drank a lot. I was stressed at the time, so I had to be signed off from work.
Yeah.
I was stressed at the time, so I started to commit a bombing spree. Anyway, so the bombing spree, much like in the episode, he concealed the bombs in packages to murder people when suspicion was placed on his activities. He killed 2 victims, one intended and one as collateral damage to throw the police off. How are you committing more murders to get away with this? Both bombs had distinctive ink on their packaging labels that detonated through a mercury switch when people picked them up. Right. I don't understand. Like, you know when you're a kid and your mum signs your name onto a birthday card and she makes it look different so it looks like you've actually signed it? Why is he not able to alter his handwriting so that at least the bombs don't have the same distinctive ink on there? Just use a pen. I don't understand.
Yeah. Big problem. Big problem.
In the episode, the BAU initially suspect Clerman of being the unsub, and the reason is because Hoffman was severely injured when he tried to deliver one of his bombs and set it off himself. I just can't with the stupidity of this. So, October 15th, 1985, Hoffman sends a bomb to Stephen Christensen, and the bomb explodes on the 6th floor of the Judge Building, which was in the business district of Salt Lake City. Just after 8 a.m., Christensen is killed outside his office, and a secretary is wounded by flying glass. The investigation was a little fuzzy because this is at the same time that the Unabomber was sending bombs out. It's never just one idiot, is it?
Nope.
And Kaczynski hadn't claimed any lives at this point, so they weren't sure if this was him escalating or if this was a completely different guy. And unfortunately, Christensen's body, when the emergency services arrived on the scene, they could not identify his body because of the severe wounds of, a bomb going off in your face.
Yeah.
So the ATF took supervision of the investigation, And then, just a little bit later, in Holiday, Utah, Hoffman sent a bomb to J. Gary Sheets, who was a former employer of Christensen, with the intention of killing him. But Sheets' wife, Kathy, picked up the bomb. At the time, Sheets was ironically at the Judge building where the first bomb had gone off. And what a fucking horrific day for him. Like, you're at a place, a bomb has gone off, it's killed someone you know, and then you think, fuck, well, I better go home so that my wife knows I'm safe. And you get home and she's been blown up. So at the time, the police thought the bombings were related to the impending collapse of the CFS Financial Corporation, a real investment business. So much like in the episode, they thought it was related to the real estate business, which had recently lost investors a lot of money. It was also assumed by document dealers that this could have been the work of Mormon fanatics who had learned about the salamander letter, which damaged the church's reputation. What? Anyway, the following day, Hoffman severely injured himself after detonating a bomb in his own Toyota sports car. Good. All that happened to him is he got scratched on the face and chest, he had burns on his right side, and he's missing a finger and kneecap. But honestly, I don't care. You already set off a bombing spree.
So you're right.
Apparently, he was just about to meet with an attorney that represented one of Hoffman's clients and who had probably been like, this doesn't seem legit. You're going to have to get this properly checked. So he was probably trying to kill the accountant, so nothing can be tracked back to him. He wants this to not be tracked back to him. He wants to make sure that no one is like, well, let's look into these forgeries. So he schedules a meeting with the attorney, intending to murder him at that point, as if the police would not go to the law firm and be like, so who was his meetings with? He then managed to spin this as him being targeted. You know, oh, someone just gave me this parcel and it just blew up. Someone's clearly trying to kill me. Shut up. He said that a brown pickup truck was following him that morning with a middle-aged Caucasian man driving. So at this point, investigators are like, oh, well, we don't think it's about the salamander letter. We think it's about the McLennan collection. What, the one he hasn't finished yet? The one he says, no, I've got it, don't worry. Luckily, they both became suspicious of Hoffman when it found out that he had appointments with both Christensen and Sheets over the McLennan. To be clear, Hoffman is very stupid.
Yeah, very.
If you want to throw people off the scent and you want to make them think that there's nothing wrong with your forged documents, don't plan to kill the people that are asking questions and then schedule official appointments with them. Do you think that attorneys and businessmen do not keep like a little diary to say who they're meeting and when? Because I can tell you now, they fucking do. When he picked it up, he dropped the bomb by mistake, and that's what set it off. What do you mean? What are you... Who is delivering a bomb and then accidentally drops it? How can he just sit on the floor and decompress? This is ridiculous. Ridiculous. Let me read you some of this. So the bomb expert determined that the bomb was in the back seat of the car, you know, where you'd keep something you wanted to make sure didn't roll around at all while you were driving. He knelt on the seat at the front, you know, knelt on the driver's seat and reached into the back to get it.
Surely you'd open the back door and then get it that way.
I opened the back door to get like shopping out of the back seat. Like if I've got like, you know, a bag of frozen stuff, it's in the back seat in the footwell, but I'm not just like leaning around the console to get it.
Absolute idiot.
Yeah, do you know what? I think that's a theme. People are like, oh wow, these serial killers, they're so smart. They're just so intelligent. No, they're not. Everything about them is stupid. Smart people do not murder people.
No.
Every murderer is a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
And you can quote me on that. So, anyway, now that they're thinking, well, Hoffman might be the perpetrator, they search his car, and in the trunk, well, the remains of the trunk, because let's not forget, he dropped the bomb in the back seat and blew up his fucking car.
Yeah.
They found a pipe elbow, the same material that's been used to construct the bombs, the black pen that he had used, the specific pen with the specific ink. A pair of rubber surgical gloves, a crinkled piece of paper, and numerous other papers burned by the fire and drenched by the fire hoses. I'm not really sure what the paper had to do with it. Maybe it had handwriting on there, but...
Maybe.
So I just want you to remember this. The next time anyone's like, wow, these killers are so smart. They're outsmarting the police. They're just fucking lucky they haven't been caught. They're morons. Then they decided that they were going to look through Hoffman's house. And I'm sure you're thinking, Sarah, well, I bet there's no more incriminating material in that. Surely he would be like, let's ditch any evidence. No. They had a tape recorder, gun parts, an Uzi submachine gun manual. I don't know why. As well as evidence that he had forged all of the documents he discovered. Why would you keep the evidence that you had forged something? What is going on?
At least hide the evidence.
I would not even keep evidence that showed that I had, you know, copied a school paper. Let alone I have forged documents and sold them to the Mormon church for $20,000. They also dismantled the home security system since its parts could have been used in the manufacture of the bombs, which is something that I am now unsettled about. And then finally, document examiner George Throckmorton analyzes the documents that Hoffman claimed to have found that were previously deemed authentic and determined that they were forgeries.
Where was this guy in the beginning? Like, he could have, like, saved so many people.
I know.
Been scammed.
Good fucking God.
Hey.
He then, so, Throckmorton, right? He was obviously really good at his job because he looked at the documents that were stated to have been written by different people and found out that they actually had very similar writing styles. You know, like you would have on the first document ever created in the Americas by Europeans, and then something written by the founder of the Mormon Church. They've just got similar handwriting. You know how it is. And they've all been written with the same ink. You know how ink hasn't changed at all between the early 1600s and today.
Yes.
They also discovered that a poem used to authenticate the handwriting in the salamander letter was also forged by Hoffman and inserted into a book of common prayer that was once owned by Martin Harris. Sorry. What? Are you not? Where did you think this poem had come from? Oh, good. This poem that Hoffman found a year ago, it authenticates the handwriting for this salamander letter. Oh, good for Hoffman. Glad he's able to go in the libraries and everything. Sarah, I'm going to have a breakdown.
Yes, well, you can do it while we set up for the new video call. Because we are running out of time.
We'll be right back after this short break.
Yeah. Well, and we're back. Emma, can you continue with your true crime recap?
I don't know, I might just rip my hair out. So, thankfully, Hoffman was arrested for murder and forgery in February 1986.
Good.
He tried to maintain his innocence, but if found guilty at trial, he would have risked the death penalty. So in January 87, he pled guilty to 2 counts of second-degree murder and 2 counts of theft by deception, confessing to his forgeries in open court, which I think is really liked for all that he did.
Yeah.
Anyway, we get one of those things that makes me feel like screaming again, where it's in January 1988, he was sentenced to 5 years to life. What do you mean 5 years to life? 5 years and life is very different.
Yeah, there's a whole gap there.
Is it like you have to serve at least 5 years? He set off 2 bombs.
Yeah.
He's killed 2 people. He could have killed a lot more.
Yeah. Just throw away the key. Just leave that. Yeah.
And now, if you're thinking, well, at least that's over.
Yeah.
No. He nearly received parole in 1988. And I know what you're thinking. Well, wasn't he only sentenced in 1988? Yeah.
Yes. How?
What do you mean he nearly received parole? Thankfully, the Utah Board of Pardons observed this and said Hoffman had a callous disregard for human rights and he should never receive another chance of parole. Yeah. Good. Why on earth? Why? Did you even offer him parole? I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't.
Anyway, while he was imprisoned, his wife rightly filed for divorce.
Good
on
Lord.
Probably every single ground there is.
Yeah.
And he then attempted to die by suicide in his cell, but was revived. However, he'd spent 12 hours lying on his arm, blocked its circulation, which caused muscle atrophy. Ironically, permanently disabling the hand that he had used to make the forgeries.
How convenient.
Well, he won't be able to do it again. In the following years, Hoffman was recognized as one of the most accomplished American forgers. Why are you saying accomplished? Prolific was right there. And collectors, right? Take a deep breath, Sarah. Collectors continued to buy, sell, and trade his forgeries as if they were genuine, as late as 1997.
Dude, I was like 8 then.
Yeah, and more importantly, he'd been in prison for 10 years.
Mental.
You know they're forgeries, and you're like, yeah, but they are pretty good forgeries, right? And anyway, this is a piece of history in itself. No, it's evidence of a crime. People were killed.
Yeah.
And then, because of Hoffman, he did actually manage to embarrass the Mormon church, which meant that the LDS church suffered some backlash, mocking. 2 people are dead. I don't care if someone's like, nah, aren't you stupid to have bought a forged copy of a document? 2 people are dead.
Yeah.
So he is still incarcerated at Central Utah Correctional Facility. Good. I hope you stay there until you die.
Yeah.
His known victims include Stephen Christensen, the man who purchased the salamander letter, an unnamed secretary who was injured. I feel like you could have easily looked up her name. Not me, but the papers could have easily looked up her name. And then J. Gary Sheets. Oh, he wasn't obviously injured or killed, but his wife, Kathleen Sheets, she was murdered in the second bomb explosion. So yeah, shall we move on to what would Penelope Garcia do? Because, oh my God, I think we need it after this.
Yeah, I agree. So scams and frauds are sadly a growing problem in today's world, but there are resources available to help you protect yourself and those around you from falling victim to these crimes. In the UK, the government has a campaign called Stop Think Fraud. There are resources available online to help you identify if you're at risk, how to spot a potential fraud, how to protect yourself and your family, and how to report fraudulent activity, along with advice on what to do if you become a victim of fraud. All of these resources are available at stopthinkfraud.campaign.gov.uk in both the English language and Welsh language.
And if you're in the US, you can learn about common and emerging scams, including ones that use AI, what to do if you're the target, and how to report it by going to usa.gov/scams-and-fraud. Now, in March, I put a little bit of a joke saying, at least until the high schoolers Musk put in charge of the government efficiency accidentally delete the code and then you get a 404 error with an outdated meme. And I put, we recorded this in March. Who knows what happens? Who knows what's happened since? Well, in July, Musk has left in quite an insane way. But I think that I'm not legally allowed to say or to repeat what he said.
Yeah.
But Google it. And at least some of the teenagers left with him. So I'm glad a 19-year-old is no longer monitoring government websites. Good. Just in case something else goes wrong between now and September, You can also visit the Global Anti-Scam Alliance at gasa.org. And please watch out for your friends and families. Scammers often play on their emotions, like the time one of my aunts got a text from someone claiming that one of her sons, which of her sons, the text did not say, was in hospital abroad and needed money sent to pay for the bills. Full disclosure, I do not know exactly what happened, and I'm not going to ask her, but she immediately went, oh my God, my son's sick in hospital abroad, and didn't think to go, which son is it? Or let me ring his wife and be like, hey, when did he go to Bulgaria?
Yeah.
And also, my dad's received a few texts that say, like, hey, Dad, this is my new number. And thankfully, all of them have occurred while we've been in the same house. So my dad's like, why is she texting me? She's got a new number from the bathroom.
Yeah.
But also, my dad would not respond to a scammer, mainly because he actually hates texting and hates online banking. So even if he did believe them, he'd have to go to my mum or the bank to get something sorted. And someone there would be like, have you rung your daughter's actual number? Can you just give me your phone for a second? Thanks. Yeah. So his technophobia has built-in safeguards against scammers. Encourage your friends and family to be a bit more Luddite.
Yeah. And just to say that my mum also got a similar text saying, Mum, this is my new number. Except for the fact that me and my sister never refer to my mum as Mum. We have other nicknames for her that we use in messages. So she knew instantly that it wasn't us.
Yeah. That is also a pretty good way. Just really drill it into your parents, grandparents, whoever. I would call you if I got a new number and you would literally hear my voice.
Yeah. Or in my case, or in your case, we live in the same house as our parents, so they know we've got a new number anyway.
Why would I go up to the bathroom, change my number, and then come back downstairs to finish watching the program? Just like, oh, I've been to the bathroom. Let me just change over my phone number. One time my dad literally came up the stairs and knocked on the door and I was like, what? And he's like, I just got a text from you saying you've got a new number. And I'm like, I am trying to pee. That's not me. Just leave it until I get out.
Anyway, that's all for this week. But come back next week when we'll be talking about Criminal Minds Season 1, Episode 4, Plain Sight.
While you're waiting for the next episode, why not follow us on social media? We're on Instagram at Looking for a Man in His 30s Pod, Tumblr at Looking for a Man in His 30s Pod, or you can email us at lookingforamanhis30s@gmail.com. All free time is 30s is spelled out. Don't put 30 or you might get one of those bots that keep sending me scam messages.
And you can also rate and review us on whichever platform you're using to listen to podcasts. It really helps more than you know.
Until next time.
This case is closed.
Boom.